But the University of Melbourne, if only we had someone who worked there on the program here this evening. Well, guess what they're going to have? A Marxism conference. What are they going to do at the Marxism conference? They're going to be selling the F ScoMo T-shirts. It'll be held at the University of Melbourne over Easter. Dozens of sessions and panel talks have been organised with titles including Does Non-Violence Work? You can turn up between $20 and $200 for a ticket. Anyway, other things, Marxism 101, why capitalism is destroying the planet. The University of Melbourne says it's all about free speech, so jog on. So, Nicholas, tell us why the F ScoMo shirts are fine to be sold on the campus.
Well, look, I'm not going to defend the F ScoMo T-shirts. I'm always one for manners. But look, this is a horrible beat-up, this story, Paul, and you know it, and I reckon Bronwyn and Cam know it as well. Look, the truth is that you can hire, any third party can hire a room at the University of Melbourne for their conference. If they want to use a lecture theatre or one of our halls, they can do so. They pay a fee to the university.
Do many mining conferences do that?
And I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Well, the University of Wollongong, which I know is not your institution, they since 1998 have been having a mining conference, but their students successfully protested and got it cancelled this year. We know about plenty of the attitudes at other universities. Are you telling me that Melbourne University, if you wanted to have a pro-coal festival, you would gladly be able to book? Nobody would knock you back. Nobody would spit on you as you're walking in and out of the hall?
Well, I'm glad you actually raised coal, because actually world-leading research on carbon capture and storage, which many people see as the great hope for coal, is being led by a gentleman, Professor Peter Cook, and his fantastic research team at the University of Melbourne. I mean, equally, University of Melbourne partnering the Doherty Institute, where they cloned the coronavirus. So where they cloned it, the Doherty Institute, the University of Melbourne coronavirus.
And I think that is
first place.
And I talked about that on the show last night. And I said that was a magnificent achievement and something for us to be very proud of. No question. But did you notice the dodge? If Adani wanted to have a employment drive and do it at the University of Melbourne, how do you reckon that'd go, Bronwyn?
It wouldn't be on, Paul. Yeah. And let me say this. Socialism is brutal, ugly and cruel. And to try and say that it's just a nice little talk fest with some nice people in the university is rubbish.
Correct.
And those of you who try to support socialism, like you, Nicholas, do either out of ignorance or they do it because they want to be part of the ruling class. Now remember the words of the intellectual George Bernard Shaw, who said that socialism means that you should have to justify your very existence, and if you can't, you should be eliminated, kindly. Now those thoughts were taken up by other socialists, National Socialist Hitler, Communist Socialist Stalin, Mao Zedong. Now what's happening in China? Is President Xi about to emulate some of that? Tell me this, 10 cities in China have been shut down. For 37 million people have been put into isolation. People can't get in and out. They built a hospital for 1,000 people. Did they? In 6 days? Really? There's only 170 deaths for all of this? Wait till we hear the real count.
Well, now, Bronwyn, I understand that Marxism might not be your cup of tea, so you're probably not going along to the Marxist collective conference there at the hall that they've hired, paid money for. But
the point was, if Adani hired it, what would happen?
Nicholas,
I was going to get to that. Getting to that.
So just,
hang on, Campbell, get in there, and then Nicholas can push back.
One thing about this, but one thing about this, if it's been reported correctly, is they seem to be actually, advocating revolution and essentially violence to pursue their aims. Now, again, I just got to contrast it with a basket of unis in Australia at the moment where if someone from the Conservative side goes there, there's protests, there's intimidation, they're being asked to pay for security, and all that goes on because those views are unacceptable on the campus. But here we've got a group of Marxists advocating revolution and violence, the overthrow of the social order, but that's okay. It's just a bit of a frolic.
Now look, that's been an exemplary example there, Campbell, of the hypocrisy of the Conservative commentariat in Australia. On the one hand, you're a champion for freedom of speech, But on the other hand, you're criticising a conference about Marxism at a university.
No, I didn't say
I mean, you can't have it both ways. You know, you do either
wrong,
freedom of
Nicholas.
speech.
You are wrong.
Or do you want to denounce Marxism and say you don't support freedom of speech?
Okay, Nicholas, let me put it...
I'm denouncing violence.
Okay, Nicholas, let me put it this way.
The advocation of violence and revolution.
To test your theory, if we decided to do a live broadcast of Paul Murray Live from a facility that any member of the public could come into at University of Melbourne, what would happen?
Done. I'd love that. It would be fantastic.
No protesters?
So much fun, Paul. Look, there'd be a colourful discussion, I have no doubt.
Would anyone
about
spit at me?
But, well, you know what, Paul? Like, there might be some of the Marxists might turn up, but you know who else might turn up? Some people from the Menzies Research Centre. Nick Cater, of course, who's
what a
who's
violent
based at
record they
Melbourne
have.
University.
What a violent record they have.
Based at Melbourne University.
Nick
Cater, and here's my
the overthrow of the democracy we all enjoy.
Guess who else might turn up? Professor Peter Credlin from the University of Melbourne. She might turn up to the program as well. But there's a diversity of views there at the university. The Marxists have hired it, one of the halls at the university. They've paid money to do it.
And you're
Let
supporting
them
them,
have their
Nicholas,
conference.
are you?
It's called freedom of speech. Let their
Nick,
ideas
you support them.
be voiced and stand up.
You
to
want the end of
criticism.
capitalism.
All right, guys.
Is it appropriate that they advocate violent revolution? Where we live in a democracy. These people are talking about overthrowing essentially an elected government. That's what revolution is. And they're talking about violence.
That's what Karl Marx advocated for, because he said, you know, according to him, I don't support the theory, but according to him, the only way you could overturn capitalism was through revolution.
Correct.
Nicholas, you're better than this, mate.
Come on, you can't. Anyway, all right, if you have a view, and I'm sure you do, join us.
He's been saying it since, you know, the 1800s. You know, it's nothing new about Marxism. It's not like we're hearing any new ideas there, Cam. So if it's shocking you in 2020, it should have been shocking you 20 years ago.
A few people have died under that ideology.
But not Marxism. That doesn't really make sense to me.
All right.